I just barely had the time to hit the load state button, and this guy jumps at me with a phone call, but it's for a rematch, so I guess it's worth it. Thankfully, I'm not very far away from where he is, so I'm just going to backtrack a bit until I get to him and then battle him. But what's he gonna send at me? A level 9 Rattata? Level 14 maybe? I don't know exactly what I'll be able to take, especially with just my Cyndaquil, who hasn't even learned Ember yet, but oh! A Bellsprout! Now, I said that I would try catching one in this part, but I thought I'd have to actively look for it, so I'm going to weaken it with a few tackles, and then I'm going to attempt to catch it. Fun thing about Bellsprout is that it's not even found in the wild in Bellsprout Tower. It's only on Route 31. Of course, the trainers in Bellsprout Tower have a lot of Bellsprout, but they have nothing but that, I think, but not a single wild one. So I have to catch it here, and it's a success! I've got my HM Slave for the next chunk of the game, which will be a fairly big one. I don't remember what's the next HM I gain access to after Cut and Flash, but just having Cut and Flash on this guy will certainly help me buy some time while I try finding better HM Slaves. So all I have to do now is to head back to this Joey guy on Route 30, and there's actually more than one thing, a few things that I haven't had the time to say about the potential Gold, Silver, Crystal remakes, and, well, first of them, well, it has to be the music. You remember how, well, no one really likes the music in Fire Red and Leaf Green, even with the Red, Blue, and Yellow, even with the primitive sounds, it sounds a lot better, it's more pleasing to the ear, and the Rattata is still level 4, so I guess its leveling up is triggered by beating gyms, just like in later generations. For a while there, I was afraid I was gonna have to take on level 9 Rattata, or maybe even higher, but I guess not, so this one was a joke. But back to the music in an eventual remake. Actually, there was someone on the Speed Gamers forums who put up a link to a pretty nifty rendition of the trainer battle theme from Gold, Silver, Crystal, but upgraded to, you know, the potential of the DS. So once this video is done, as usual, in the movie description, it goes. And something else I've mentioned in the comments section of the last video is that what I like to see is, you know how in Fire Red and Leaf Green and even Emerald you couldn't trade Pokemon that weren't in the regional decks before you acquired the national decks? Well, I would like them to do away with that. Though they did do away with that in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, much to my delight, and most everyone's, I'm sure. So if they could just keep that up, I'll be a happy camper. Now I'm going to use Leer on things because I'm running out of Tackle PP to do things with, and that's something I never expected I'd say one day. Running out of Tackle PP. Wow. But all what I'm saying right now is if the announcement is a Gold, Silver, Crystal remake. But even if it isn't, you just know that there's gonna be one further down the road, because it's not like Nintendo to run away from the possibility of making a remake of a game with minimal effort and still make millions off of it. Well, I say with minimal effort. I still hope there's gonna be some effort put into it, because as I said in the last video, there were a few flaws with the game, and I was talking about the very low levels throughout the game. It's even more blatant in Kanto, actually, which I didn't mention. You know how the highest Pokemon Lance has is a level 50 Dragonite? Well, the only trainer that goes above level 50 in Kanto is Blue! And there's Red, of course, but hey, Amber! That's nice, I thought it would never come. So that's good news for me, because if I didn't learn Ember quickly, then I would have had to I would have been forced to do Bellsprout Tower by day since there are only Rattatas there, whereas by night there are mostly Ghastlies and only a few Rattatas here and there. As I said before, no wild Bellsprouts in that thing. But yeah, only red and blue go over 50 in Kanto. It's like you can beat 5 trainers in quick succession whose Pokémon are between level 40 and 50, and then in Kanto, you just have to beat them off one by one, and they have similar levels. What were they thinking? I would have expected that since they were so conservative with levels in Johto that they would be much higher in Kanto, but they didn't even do that! So Kanto has no challenge whatsoever. Lots of items in there. A potion, a person berry, a Pokeball to compensate for the one I chucked at that Bellsprout. So now I imagine this guy is a bug catcher because all bug catchers are small. It's common knowledge. But one thing I wanted to talk about while beating on this Joker is why I picked Crystal over Gold and Silver. Most of the requests I've had for this game were actually requests for Gold and Silver, so I don't know if I actually let anyone down by picking Crystal instead, but why did okay, now I'm a bit confused. I was just ordering the moves the way I like it while talking, but I'm not really used to sorting garbage moves like a Smokescreen or Leer, I'm sorry. But why I picked Crystal? Well, it's the deluxe version. It's the fairly easy conclusion to draw. There's also the fact that, well, Suicune is no longer a runner, so I only gotta catch 2 of those running guys, which I will both need, by the way, in order to get to Who once I've beaten the Elite Four. And also very important is the move tutor in Goldenrod that appears there on a few days a week after I beat the Elite Four. The move tutor that teaches Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and also Flamethrower. It's, by the way, it's the first game, Crystal, where Flamethrower is a TM/tutor. It wasn't even the case in Red, Blue, and Yellow, and even less in Gold and Silver, where they did away with Ice Beam and Thunderbolt for some reason. But yeah, I'm already going to have to deal with moves with low accuracy like Blizzard and Thunder, and to a lesser extent Fire Blast, until I beat the Elite Four. I don't want to have to deal with those moves after I beat the Elite Four as well, especially since the post-game is fairly extensive, taking out stuff like the Battle Frontier and the Battle Frontier in Emerald and Platinum, because they are not really part of the RPG element. Gold, Silver, Crystal's got the most extensive post-game. As badly botched as it was, it's still the biggest. Oh, here's another guy who wants to trade phone numbers. So yeah, I hope he's a bit less quick on the phone as the other guy was. It's like the other guy, that Joey dude, it's like he called me just as I load the state. I could just imagine that guy, you know. Well, he's frantically trying to contact me all day, but I can't because I'm not actually playing, and he's composing the same number over and over and over all day, and that's what I'm imagining, and what's going on in my head is pretty fucked up. If you're listening to that, that's what you might be thinking, and that's what I'm thinking too. I've got a pretty weird imagination sometimes, especially since I'm no longer a child. I'm 25 and I still think all those ridiculous things. And I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't drink, and even if I wanted to drink, I couldn't drink because of my medication, so yeah, I'm just naturally fucked up like that. Anyway, I've reached Violet City, which ironically is called Mauville in French. I say ironically because in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, the English version, there's a city called Mauville. So what did they call Mauville in the French version? I honestly don't know, but I'm gonna finish this video by healing my badly injured Cyndaquil, and well, that's it for today. Join me next time as we take a stroll around Violet City.